He was the most unlikable candidate in the history of presidents, and that's saying a lot.
But Biden says the same thing.
He's number 2. When Biden says something, does anyone go like, oh?
Right.
No, they used to go, oh, what'd he say?
Yeah. What is happening in America? You can feel it. Something we've worked for and dreamed of for a long time. Donald Trump fell asleep at his own trial, and when he woke up, he made his own kind of history. The first person to run for president with 34 felonies.
Hillary Clinton was pacing like a volcano seconds from eruption. You could almost see the steam rising off her shoulders as her patience evaporated by the second. Meanwhile, Tyrus stood there, calm as ever, casually dropping bombshells like he was reading off a shopping list. Each revelation hit harder than the last. One scandal after another, each secret filthier than a toddler's sneakers after a mudslide. Then came the explosion. The tension snapped, and Hillary's fury could have lit up an entire city block with pure electric rage. You couldn't look away even if you tried. It was that intense. Every word, every glare, every twitch of her face screamed disbelief and outrage. And in that moment, one question burned through everyone's mind. What could possibly be so shocking, so outrageous that it pushed her over the edge like this? This meltdown didn't just make headlines, it made every political drama out there look like a cheap, overacted soap opera that just got outclassed by reality itself.
You know, Tyrus, and this goes back to 2016, people were reluctant to talk to pollsters and say, I like Donald Trump. And now, fast forward 8 years later, essentially they're saying, if you like him, you're in a cult. Do you really want to be in a cult?
If the cult that Hillary doesn't like, yeah.
Before we dive any deeper, hit that like button and subscribe. You're going to want front row seats for this chaos. Hillary Clinton was supposed to be living the dream, enjoying her picture-perfect post-political life. She was gliding from one talk show to another, sharing polished lines of wisdom, and soaking in the applause like a Broadway legend taking her grand final bow. But that perfect act shattered the moment Tyrus stormed in. He came crashing through the calm like a bull, rampaging through a china shop. No hesitation, no filter, just raw revelations flying left and right. Each secret he dropped sounded like it came straight from the locked vaults of Area 51. Wild, classified, and absolutely jaw-dropping.
Is it a red hat? I'll get one. Like, it's ridiculous. When the losing side, or someone, she's just a very unlikable person and will say anything to get this attention. But here's the thing, it's changed. America has changed. We no longer listen to that stuff. Now when they say it, we go, that's why I didn't vote for you.
Suddenly, the woman who's weathered decades of Washington scandals was allegedly losing it completely. It was like someone yanked the plug on her teleprompter right in the middle of her grand speech. The control, the calm, the polished composure, gone in a flash. And let's be honest, if anyone was ever going to push Hillary Clinton past her breaking point, it wasn't going to be some senator with a polished smile, or an international rival playing diplomatic chess. It wasn't even those friendly journalists tossing her soft questions wrapped in compliments. No, this meltdown had one name written all over it: Tyrus, a man who looks like he was built in a WWE lab and then upgraded into a walking truth grenade. He doesn't just step into controversy, he dives headfirst into it. When he makes an entrance, it's not subtle. It's a full-on belly flop that sends shockwaves through the entire room.
Clinton is one of the most disgusting human beings on the planet.
Very much so.
Always has been, always will be, and will be inserting clips on her response to Benghazi several times throughout the interview. I want to show who she is.
She's worse than her husband.
A lot of people say that this was triggered by a YouTube video. This is her statement. I condemn in the strongest terms the attack on our mission in Benghazi today. The United States deplores any intentional effort to denigrate the religious beliefs of others. Our commitment to religious tolerance goes back to the very beginning.
Picture this. The world's just going about its business. Politics crawling along in its usual swamp of chaos. Everything's predictable. Same old drama, same old headlines. But then, out of nowhere, Tyrus decides today's the day. He's gonna dig into the darkest, dirtiest secrets imaginable. And he's not holding back for anyone. These aren't the kind of polished scandals that politicians can twist with a smile and a clever quote. No, these are the kind of grimy, career-staining revelations that can't be scrubbed clean no matter how much PR polish you apply. The kind that turns spotless, dry clean only reputations into something that smells like a pair of gym socks left out after a 4th of July barbecue gone wrong.
She talks, you kind of get why Bill did what he did. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, it's kind of like, again, I don't condone, cheating, but that's your morning.
Yeah.
You gotta kiss that before you go to bed at night, and then you gotta sleep with one eye open.
Yeah.
And when those buried secrets finally burst into the light, Hillary's reaction isn't just loud, it's legendary. This isn't some cold stare or carefully worded rebuttal. It's a full-on explosion of fury that could rival a 4th of July finale. Every ounce of composure flies out the window, replaced by blazing outrage that lights up the room like a spark to dynamite. Forget calm debates or subtle deflection. This was fireworks level fury. It was the kind of eruption that makes you wonder if someone secretly swapped her morning latte for a shot of pure jet fuel. The energy was unreal, the anger palpable, the tension electric. And Tyrus, oh, he was in his element. The man doesn't just expose hypocrisy, he detonates it with style, swagger, and a confidence so sharp it leaves everyone speechless. Each word he drops hits like a thunderclap, shaking the stage and leaving nothing but stunned silence and dropped jaws behind.
Oh, your buddy Epstein didn't off himself, and she has all this extra footage cut up in the closet. Like, I bet Bill has not had a good night's sleep for years. I mean, that's why he aged so badly.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people don't know this. Bill Clinton is only 37 years old.
Tyrus treats scandals like epic wrestling storylines, amped up with pure drama, swagger, and just the right dose of showmanship to keep every pair of eyes locked on him. When he goes after Hillary, it's never just about digging up some forgotten corner of her past. It's about staging a spectacle so huge it makes cable news look like a kiddie puppet show trying to keep up. And Hillary? Oh, she hates it. Because if there's one thing she's built her entire career on, it's control. Controlling the message, the interviews, the optics, the image of always being 10 moves ahead in the political chess game. She thrives on precision, polish, and poise. But Tyrus doesn't play by those rules. He doesn't play chess at all. He hurls chaos straight into the ring and stands back to watch the explosion unfold. And when those secrets start spilling like dynamite one after another, Hillary's composure evaporates in an instant. Suddenly she's pacing, shouting, waving her arms like she's both the director and the star of her own political soap opera gone completely off script.
She's just evil. Like, there's nothing like her.
Why would she even tweet that? Like, don't you have
I think she just sits around in her evil lair. Whenever she runs out of Eye of Newt and Small Children to Boil, she then goes to X and just says whatever the most evilest thing. I think if the devil himself showed up, like, you'll never hear her being possessed by a demon. You know what I'm saying? The demon will walk in and the demon will be calling Dr. Phil. You don't believe the that I just saw, bro. Like.
So what exactly did Tyrus uncover? Let's just say it wasn't sweet bedtime gossip. It was the kind of revelation that makes headlines shake and PR teams panic. These weren't the type of rumors you laugh about over brunch. These were career-cracking bombshells. Tyrus wasn't just whispering secrets. He was digging up scandals long buried, dusting them off, and blasting them under blinding spotlights for the whole world to see. Suddenly, the ghosts of Hillary's past controversies weren't lurking in the shadows anymore. They were marching front and center like a chaotic parade spinning out of control. Every scandal, every rumor, every unanswered question came storming back in full color. And here's the thing, Hillary has survived enough scandals to fill an entire Netflix anthology, but this was different. What terrified her inner circle most wasn't the secrets themselves. It was the unpredictability. You can't plan a counterattack when your opponent refuses to play by the rules or stick to the script. Her fury, her outburst, her unraveling, that became the real story. Suddenly, it wasn't about what Tyrus revealed anymore. It was about how Hillary reacted. The louder she slammed the door trying to keep those skeletons locked away, the more everyone leaned in, desperate to know what she was hiding.
The catfish. Well, they wanted us to believe it was a big naughty redhead that was going around, was going to ruin the world and do all kinds of bad things to us. Turns out the catfish was, hey, we don't boo here, but for this one time, you may boo.
Nothing screams "I'm rattled" louder than a full-blown public meltdown, and Hillary delivered one for the ages. The moment it happened, the internet pounced like a pack of wolves sensing fresh drama. Within hours, memes flooded social media, clips went viral, and the digital world turned it into the grand finale of a reality TV spectacle gone wild. One side declared her outburst as undeniable proof that she was guilty of every rumor ever whispered. The other side fired back, insisting Tyrus was just a master showman stirring the pot for clicks and views. But as the arguments flew back and forth, one undeniable truth emerged. The real winner wasn't either of them. It was the chaos. Pure, unfiltered, addictive chaos. Because in 2025, political explosions aren't just headlines anymore. They're entertainment. Hillary's been through every storm imaginable. Accusations, investigations, scandals, and still managed to stand tall like nothing could touch her. But then came Tyrus, the larger-than-life pundit with a taste for drama, and suddenly her iron composure cracked. That eruption told the world everything. It wasn't just politics at play anymore, it was a psychological chess match, and for once, Hillary's opponent wasn't following the rules.
If the pantsuit fits. Hillary Clinton, you owe Russia an apology. And there should be an apology tour for lying to the American people and ruining 2 years of Trump's presidency and affecting elections with Russiagate, impeachment, and fake dossiers. Oh yeah, let's not forget the P-tape.
Because this was never just about facts. It was about perception. And in politics, perception is reality. The moment Hillary blew up, it didn't matter what the actual truth was. What mattered was the image burned into everyone's mind. That maybe, just maybe, Tyrus had hit a nerve too deep to hide. Once people start believing you're rattled, half the battle is already lost. And Tyrus, he knows that game like the back of his hand. He doesn't need stacks of evidence or fancy graphs. Just one perfectly timed revelation, a smug grin, and the unshakable confidence that Hillary will handle the rest by losing her cool. It's the oldest trick in the playbook. Poke the bear, then sit back and let the bear make the headlines for you. Judging by the media frenzy that followed, his plan worked flawlessly. The internet went into overdrive, crowning it the meltdown of the year. You'd think by now Hillary would have mastered the art of brushing off controversy, but that outburst proved even the most seasoned pros can stumble. Watching her scramble to spin it afterward, trying to act like she was calm all along, was almost painful to witness. But by then, it was far too late. The damage was done, the memes were flying, and Tyrus, he was already moving on, lighting the fuse on his next storm of chaos.
I want you to remember what Donald Trump said about Hillary Clinton back in the 2016 debate.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
It's like, yeah, because you'd be going to jail later.
That explosion wasn't just a reaction, it was a performance. You could almost believe Hillary had practiced it in front of a mirror, rehearsing every furious gesture. She didn't simply argue, she erupted. Her arms flailed, her voice rose, and every ounce of pent-up irritation came bursting out like Tyrus had personally slammed the launch button. It was like watching a Shakespearean tragedy rewritten as a WWE showdown, complete with dramatic energy and invisible theme music only she could hear. Subtlety? Definitely not her thing. Sure, she tried to keep that polished politician's smile, leaning into the mic, delivering her words with courtroom precision, but the moment Tyrus dropped his verbal bombs, all that polish melted faster than ice cream in July. The transformation was instant. Composure gone, control vanished, fury front and center, and that's what made it so mesmerizing. Watching Hillary explode wasn't just about what Tyrus said, it was about what it revealed. The illusion of her untouchable mystique shattered right before everyone's eyes, and as always, the internet turned it into a spectacle. Memes multiplied at lightning speed, jokes flew across timelines, and the entire world watched the chaos unfold like the season finale no one saw coming.
Since they can't air the truth, they control the storyline, and they've lost control of it. From bloodbath to democracy. Last night, Hillary tried framing the election like this. Both guys are old, but you can't vote for the one we indicted.
What do you say to voters who are upset that those are the two choices?
get over yourself. Those are the two choices. One is old and effective and compassionate, has a heart, and really cares about people. And one is old and has been charged with 90.
One moment, Hillary's firing off sharp, heated rebuttals, and the next, boom! She's plastered all over social media as a volcano ready to blow, a mushroom cloud rising, even a glitching robot sparking out live on TV. Twitter wasted no time, crowning her Mount Hillary within hours. TikTok turned it into a circus of edits and remixes, pairing her fiery meltdown with clips of Tyrus grinning like a cat that just caught an eagle. Even people who couldn't care less about politics suddenly tuned in, mesmerized by the sight of one of the most powerful figures in modern history unraveling in real time. It was binge-worthy chaos, like the season finale no one saw coming. Hashtags erupted across the globe, racking up millions of views as news anchors tried and hilariously failed to hide their smirks while covering it. Every attempt to fix the mess just made it worse. It was like watching someone try to put out a grease fire with gasoline. The harder they tried to control the damage, the faster it spread. The fallout was pure madness. Late night comedians had a field day roasting it, pundits spun wild theories, and the internet went completely off the rails, connecting it to everything from Wall Street scandals to lizard people conspiracies. The chaos didn't just trend, it took over the world.
She's back like a sore on a porn star's lip.
Ew.
Complaining on X about Trump cleaning up D.C., she says, quote, on one hand, Republican officials call themselves war fighters. On the other, they become whiny crybabies at the thought of setting foot in D.C.'s streets and New York City subways that literal school children navigate every day without incident. Real macho stuff. Then she got off social media and returned to moving a dead body to a park.
Meanwhile, Hillary's defenders came charging in, insisting her outburst was nothing more than righteous anger, the kind that erupts when you finally had enough of cheap shots and constant criticism. But let's be real, anger that loud doesn't come off as strength. It looks more like insecurity wearing a Halloween mask of confidence. The irony couldn't be sharper. Hillary, the woman who built her entire legacy on surviving chaos, brushing off scandals, and standing tall through every political firestorm, suddenly looked shaken. The same figure who once seemed untouchable was now unraveling on camera, and the contrast was almost unbelievable. Even her most loyal supporters had to admit, it wasn't her finest moment. And Tyrus? He didn't have to lift another finger. The job was done. The media carried the explosion to every screen, while the internet brought out the popcorn, dissecting every frame in real time. Hillary knew how the game worked. She helped write the playbook. But the second she lost her composure, the optics turned deadly. Because in politics, truth takes a back seat to perception. And for someone who spent decades crafting an image of being unshakable, that one slip wasn't just embarrassing. It was catastrophic.
It's not just ironic, it's not just rich, it's actually pretty sad.
It's what happened to decorum?
Gone,
what happened
sadly.
to being the so-called leader in the room? He's being indicted, great, but let's not forget, you lost your election because of your, quote, crookedness. So let's not forget that. So yeah, she didn't get charges put on her, which probably should have, but she lost the election because of her underhand dealings. So let's remember.
Now step back and take in the full spectacle. It wasn't just a feud between a politician and a pundit anymore. This was a cultural moment, a symbol of how politics and entertainment have completely merged into one chaotic show. Drama has become the new currency, and outrage is the stock market. And Hillary's explosion, it was like watching the political Dow Jones crash live on every screen in America. People weren't tuning in for policy or leadership. They were there for the drama. And Hillary, whether she meant to or not, delivered it in full cinematic style. The irony is almost poetic. She spent decades crafting an image of power, composure, and resilience. The unshakable figure who could survive anything thrown her way. Yet here she was, lighting up the global stage with pure, unfiltered emotion for the world to see. Even world leaders reportedly couldn't resist laughing from afar, shaking their heads and saying, "Only in America." Meanwhile, the public was having the time of their lives. Memes flooded the internet, arguments broke out over which one captured her meltdown best, and everyone seemed to forget what even started the chaos in the first place. And that's what made it all the more absurd. The timing. Hillary wasn't running for anything. She wasn't pushing an agenda. She was simply existing. Yet somehow that alone turned into front page pandemonium, proving once again that in the modern political circus, you don't need a campaign to start a fire. You just need a moment that looks explosive enough to steal the show.
So happy about it. That was an opportunity for her. They're always talking about closing the division. That would have been an opportunity for her to be gracious and be supposedly the leader. But again, she just can't stay away from herself.
Maturity doesn't always come with age.
No, it really doesn't. And it's sad in this, currently with the given climate where everybody's after each other's throat, here's a chance for a leader to show a little bit of class necessary. You don't have to like President Trump. You could think he was guilty of sin or innocent of sin, but when you're put in that position, there was an opportunity for her to show what leaders are supposed.
And then, boom, Tyrus turns Hillary into headline gold overnight. Suddenly her face is everywhere again, lighting up screens like it's campaign season all over. It's almost as if fate itself decided she wasn't allowed a peaceful retirement. Not when her outburst still makes for such explosive, irresistible content. And honestly, that's the cruelest twist of all. Hillary wanted her legacy to be that of a trailblazer, a powerhouse who broke barriers and shaped history. But instead, she's gone viral for losing her cool in front of millions. All because a showman with a flair for spectacle turned her past into primetime entertainment, complete with enough drama to rival a carnival stage. It's pure Shakespearean irony, tragedy, pride, and downfall spun together with a healthy dose of internet-fueled chaos. The more you think about it, the funnier and sadder it becomes, because her explosion wasn't just about her. It was a mirror reflecting how absurd and theatrical modern politics has become. One outburst revealed more about the circus of American power than any serious report ever could. Now, the real question isn't whether Hillary can recover, it's whether she even wants to. Because after a spectacle this massive, there's no stuffing the genie back in the bottle. You either ride the chaos or drown in it. And if history's taught us anything, it's this. Hillary Clinton may stumble, but she never goes down quietly.